So the next morning when I talked to him, I said, bruh, I just got one thing to say to you. I said, these Jeezy lines have always stayed in my head, which was, we don't talk on the phones because it might stay. Got to play for the 7, call him Mike Vick.
Woo! Hello and welcome back to the Think RBA podcast. I'm your boy Hak, aka Mr. OK, my brother from another, Mr. Ayo. We back, sir. You know, I had so much fun with you last time. I was like, man, let's just run it back.
Run it back,
right?
Let's do it.
So we should do it on the courts. Run it back.
It's like all night to the lights. To the lights,
off. And sometimes even after.
Rain, sleet, snow.
I don't know about those stories. So, sir, let's retouch on something we talked about last week.
Okay.
CFP.
Yes, sir.
College football playoffs, man.
I told you what I was going to be doing all Saturday.
Correct. And then that's what you did all Saturday. You met up for a brief moment. And that's what you probably...
Did I tell any lies?
None whatsoever.
Was I not ready, prepped, and ready to go?
None whatsoever. And with that also ready to go, seems like no surprises. All the teams expected to move forward did.
All the higher seeds.
Correct. With that being said, does that mean that... Are the critics out, right? Oh, why are we doing this? Does it have to be less or more? What's the point of this whole thing if we just know what's going to happen?
Yeah, it was pretty interesting, you know, seeing that like there was no upset. I mean, every higher seed won and fairly easily. Clemson came back, like Texas took a big lead and Clemson kind of came back a little bit, but just to make it interesting towards the end. But like at the end of the day, it really wasn't that, like it was pretty anticlimactic, you know, you know, I was prepared for a day of, you know, football, and, you know, the Steelers Ravens was much better watching than some of these other games. Cause it just was like, they were handed, like, the other team was handed, right? Ohio State handled Tennessee, you know, Notre Dame on Friday night handled their
business. All by comfortable margins.
For the most, yeah. Like I said, Clemson made a little interesting on Texas, which was surprising. But I think for me, it's like you had questions about whether, you know, there should be 12 teams, but I think it's a matter of did the right 12 teams get in? And I think that's what people were talking about before, right? Like I think a lot of people didn't think an SMU should have got in, and it should have been in Alabama, or potentially, you know, what's that team, Miami. Cam Ward with the, you know, another Heisman finalist. So like, did the best 12 teams actually get in? And is that why all of the higher seeds
up for debate?
Yeah. So, up for debate. You know, I mean, I think for me, it squashed any ideas of needing to expand it any further than 12.
Okay.
I mean, maybe, I guess.
Well, can we not, you know, just try something different next year? A little tweak to the system. I
mean, I don't even think they're going to make any tweaks for next year. But I'm just saying, like, okay, maybe next year it'll be upset city, right?
Could be. I mean,
and maybe this is just year one, but it was, you know, I was just like, man, this is going to be a great day of football. We're going to see some good games. And I was kind of like, oh, okay, yeah, you're dominating this team like you should do. So
when I say this phrase, what comes to mind in terms of this? If it ain't broke, don't fix it.
But it was broke before.
Right.
The four teams was broke.
So they fixed it, but not to everyone's liking.
Yeah.
So how do you fix it then? What would you do to fix it?
So I think that they gotta tweak the seating and how people get in.
Okay.
And I think you got to be sure that the best 12 teams get in. And that has to take into account not just whether you won your conference and played a bunch of bad teams and had a good record. Like you can't just look at the loss column as a dictator to how, you know, you should get in. But you got to look at the totality of it and who did you play? How many ranked teams did you play? How close were those games? You know, did you win those games by a lot? Did you lose those games? You know, were they close, etc.? I mean, just some teams played brutal schedules and others played cupcake schedules.
Sure,
so like, yeah, if you play a cupcake schedule and go undefeated and win your conference, okay, that's one thing. Then what's going to happen when you play a Penn State or an Ohio State or, you know, like one of these teams that Texas, like you haven't been tested yet. And so I just think some of these teams, you know, weren't quite as tested. And again, I don't think we had the best teams. And I think I would have wanted to see a Miami or, God forbid, an Alabama in there. Weird saying that, you know? Weird saying that. But You can't tell them. I mean, it's hard to like in my mind rectify that an Alabama team or the Miami team was not better than SMU.
Okay. And that also comes down to viewership, right? Who people want to watch.
I don't think that can be effective.
No, you don't think so?
That should not be effective.
Okay.
Because who cares? Like, it doesn't matter. Like,
good TV.
No, but what matters is who had the hardest schedules and who played the best.
Okay. Truly, you want to be a purist about it.
I want to be a purist. Yeah.
I like that. Well, let's move forward and stay with college.
Okay.
Right. A little blend of college and professional here.
Yeah.
Mr. I call him one of the greatest ever. Mike Vick.
He is.
Mike Vick, your ATL. Michael Vick, or is it Michael Vick?
Mike
Vick, new head coach, Norfolk State. What are your thoughts, man? When you saw that thing, when you saw your phone and an alert popped up, what was the initial reaction?
So the initial like surge of information was happening around the same time of like all the Falcons drama too. With the whole Penix stuff and Kirk, and then and all of a sudden there's just like, oh yeah, by the way, Mike Vick is a head coach at Norfolk State. Like, okay, so like I went to a college in that division, like, and he's gonna be a coach in that, like. So I didn't really get a whole lot of time to process it. But then the next day I was on the phone with somebody. So it was somebody very close to me in my very, our very small circles.
Small circle, yeah.
And he went to Norfolk State. He graduated from Norfolk State and he's got a doctorate from Norfolk State.
Okay.
And so because I went to a competing HBCU in the same conference, shout out to the MEAC, Del State, right? So, we always talk trash about our HBCUs, right? So the next morning when I talked to him, I said, bruh, I just got one thing to say to you. I said, these Jeezy lines have always stayed in my head, which was, we don't talk on the phones because it might stay. Got to play for the 7, call him Mike Vick.
Ooh, okay.
And that was when Thug Motivation 101 was coming out, but that was back in the Vick heydays. Like,
yeah.
Oh my God. Like me and my roommate, we always used to quote that when we were talking about the Falcons.
Okay.
And so I'm excited. Like, I don't know if the schedule's out. I got to check with the schedules. Like, as soon as I can, I want to find out whether they're playing at my alma mater. Cause like,
you head out there?
I might need to go see it.
Take the young Ken out there.
I might have to do that. Yeah. Right?
Why not?
Go sit over there and watch a fresh Mike Vick.
Your papa used to be around, roam these.
Just not on the field, but.
Yeah, but roam these bleachers.
Yeah. I still remember one of the like craziest games in our school. Like we won and it was against Norfolk State that year. Like one of the craziest. We had a kid that he didn't make the NFL, but he made like practice squad. He was good too. He was a nice receiver. I thought he was going to make NFL. But saying all that to say, I think going there just to see him coach in person would be interesting. Of course, I'm sure it's going to draw a lot of attention everywhere he goes. A lot of people have not forgiven him. Let's put that out there. No, I mean, they haven't. They haven't. And,
you're right.
And I get it. There's a lot of people who are just, they're very avid animal lovers. They're going to be stuck in their ways. They're never going to feel like nothing is ever going to be good enough. And that's fine. That's how you feel. I feel like he's done enough over time. Like enough time has passed now.
He's paid
his debt to society. He, has more than paid his, debt to society by some of the volunteer work and everything else he's done. And the man deserves to have a career, whatever he chooses that to be. And so I'm excited to see it. Now, will he be successful? I don't know. Will he be following the footsteps of Prime, Eddie George, and others, go to an HBCU and make it prom? I mean, Norfolk State's not, they're a top tier HBCU.
He's in position, hired him.
And he's from that area.
Correct.
I mean, he's from the area.
I mean, I think he'll get the love. Sure, you'll have your detractors and people who want to see him fail, right? But I think even hearing him now, when I used to hear him on the NFL Network and all that, he would always talk about the part of the game that I did not pay a lot of attention to was the film study, was that extra work that I just out of sheer athleticism I was succeeding, right? I didn't really feel the need to have to do that, but had he done it, think about it, right? So now he's in a position and he's actually studying film. That's all he's doing now, right? So on top of all that experience he has, he, like Prime, like Eddie, can guide another young man to say, this is how you handle, right? If you see potential in someone like that, this is how you handle fame. This is how this is what superstardom feels, looks,
Yeah.
Look like, and this is how you handle it. This is how you get to it. And I feel like he has the respect of these young men to say, I want to hear what he has to say.
Yeah.
Right. Unless some other coach is like, well, what'd you play? Right. What have you done?
Right.
He's done it.
No.
Right.
At the highest levels. Yeah.
Right. So no, I love hearing it. I was like, this is awesome.
And I'll tell you what, man, be down there and being from that area and the hotbed of talent that exists in the Newport News, Hampton, Virginia Beach area. I mean, and he can go into those houses, talk to those parents, talk to those kids.
Right.
Like, I was you.
Correct.
I was you. How much more relatable can you get as a football coach? Right?
Exactly.
Yeah, you can go to one of these big universities and do it. Like, I was you, and I can help you get there.
Correct.
Come to Norfolk State.
Oh man, he's in a great man. I hope all the best to him. This endeavor.
Most definitely, man. You know, I'm excited.
Yeah, no, I want to see him succeed, man. I've been a big fan, and we all make mistakes, but it's time, man. I hope he succeeds. I hope he's another one of those names like Mike Vick, the guy who put Norfolk on the map type like that kind of deal. Yo, this is the ATL. We're talking about ATL, right? Now we're gonna shift to the other side of ATL. My favorite part, the Falcon.
Yeah.
And I gotta give my shout out, my props to our guy Antonio for that beautiful duck hunt clip he put up in my face, pulling up. That was awesome.
That was great.
That was Antonio, man. You the GOAT.
Salute.
You the GOAT. You the real MVP.
The real.
So, sir, the Falcons.
Yes.
Through all that drama that you were last week.
Yeah.
Right? The Penix and Cousins. Then another alert notification came out.
A couple days later,
they're looking to get rid of this man. Not only do they bench him, we're just going to throw you off the bench now. You don't even get a seat on the bench anymore. But here's $100 million check while you're at it.
Well, he's going to ride the bench the rest of the season.
Yeah, but there's a expectation that he will no longer be welcomed in that vicinity.
Do you know what that's called? It's called cap gymnastics. Salary cap gymnastics.
Well, listen, he's going to have a lot of gold chains with the amount that he's going to make for this. For how many games was it? In the teens somewhere?
So, yeah, it was like 14 games, 100 mil.
Hey, how do I sign up for that?
I mean, look, bro. And then he's going to be sitting there making money sitting there on a bench, too. He's going to have plenty of chains anyway for all that cool shopping he does. But, you know, buying your clothes from Kohl's and
that's right.
$100 million gets you a lot of chains. Okay, so salary cap gymnastics. I mean, so here's my hypothesis. My hypothesis is that the free agency comes before the draft, and he was by far the best free agent. Like, it was like him and everybody else. There was nobody close.
Okay.
Right. And you're coming off of one of the worst QB situations in the league. You're the Falcons, right? And you're right there, right? Like 7-7, and you just have terrible QB play. So you go spend on a guy. Yeah, he's coming off of an injury, but we've seen others come off of injury. So, like, you know, that could be hit or miss. He, you know, by all accounts, medically, he was supposed to be back, you know, fine by the start of the season. So you go get that guy, right? And then I think after that, they had a chance to finally evaluate the other players in the draft and saw Penix and were like, oh, damn. Like, maybe we messed up here. Because we can't pass this up, right? Right? Like he's him for us, and we can't pass it up. So now, okay, well, here's how we're going to spin this. We're going to spin this with, well, we don't expect to be picking this low again. So we're going to get our guy now, but we're going to ride with Kirk for the next 2 years. And it started shaky, right? In the beginning, started shaky. Then it like picked up, and he had that 500-yard game. He had the 4-touchdown game against Tampa. He played well against the NFC South, but everybody else, well, and the Eagles, we had that come from behind crazy win. But everybody else, he just straight trash. And it just was getting progressively worse and worse and worse to the point where, like, you have to make the switch. The problem is that because Kirk is like, you know, he's known as like the quarterback businessman of the NFL. He was the first to get an all guaranteed contract when he went from Washington to Minnesota.
Okay.
He was the first to get a fully guaranteed contract. Never happened before then, right? So everybody always talks about how he's a shrewd businessman. And they were talking about it when he got this contract too. But one of the key parts of this contract was the no trade. So if you're Kirk, right? So Falcons, right? I'm sure they don't want to cut him. Why would you want to cut him? You want to get something for him, right?
Of course.
Like, there's teams that are quarterback needy, right?
Yeah.
Plenty of teams need a quarterback. get something for him. Well, he says, no. Why, what incentive does he have? You're going to pay me anyway. And if I waive my no trade clause, that team has to give up assets, something for me to go there. And if I want to go there, I just play chicken and let you cut me. Because then I can go there on a minimum salary. They don't give up any assets. And then they can use that money, right? Because even if a team, I think if we did trade him, that team would still pick up like 23 mil or something like that. And don't quote me on it, guys. But like they would pick up a portion of the salary for next year. So, and we'd pick up some of the dead money. But like, yeah, could play on a veteran minimum. They could build the rest of the team around it and also not give up anything for me. What incentive do I have to waive my no trade clause? And you benched me. So I could just really play chick. Like, okay, I'm good. I am not waiving my no trade clause. Anybody. Well, so then what other option do you have? If you're the Falcons, you can't keep them around. You can't keep them on the bench. Right? Those distractions, as soon as Michael Penix has a bad game, whatever, you can't keep them there.
Right.
So what other option do you have? And I fully believe, and I know you're going to jump in, that this story being leaked to Schefter and others is 100% from Kirk's side. 100%. Wow. This is not the Falcons leaking that, oh, by the way, we're going to cut him in March. Why would they do that?
Yeah, why would they do that?
No, this is totally Kirk's side.
Kirk's playing some really...
he's shrewd.
He's a shrewd business.
Yeah.
I guess my question to you, if they, where do you see Kirk going? Where would you like to see him go? Where would you actually see him going? Being the shrewd businessman he is, who is quarterback needy, where he could be a good fit?
I mean, like, honestly, I think it just depends on the state of the league. I mean, could he be another bridge quarterback for one of these other teams like the Giants? Right? Or Oakland?
Oh boy. Okay.
But they're going to be up in the air about drafting Shador or Cam Ward.
Right.
So like, but does he want to go be in that kind of situation? Would a team like I can't even see it though, but like him with the 49ers wouldn't be bad because they have a decision to make on paying Brock Purdy. Do they want to pay Brock Purdy or would they want Kirk Cousins on a minimum? Because then that allows them to pay other guys. And then they let Brock walk and go get paid by some other team.
Hey.
I mean...
All good questions.
Because again, the 49ers have an old veteran team.
Right.
You got a lot of people, a lot of mouths to feed over there. You got Kittle, you got Debo, you got, McCaffrey, plus some other defenders, Bosa, they got a lot of mouths to feed. A quarterback on Brock Purdy's going to want a lot of money.
I mean, the man's earned it.
He earned a lot of money. He earned the right to ask for a lot of money.
Of course.
So, like, Kirk fits Kyle Shanahan's system well, although his movement's a little shaky right now. But I don't know, like there's a lot of.
So when do we find out by what is the deadline?
Well, so they're gonna supposedly the cut's gonna be by March.
Okay, so we have
a
couple months to figure it out.
Yeah, we do.
All right, well, while that's being figured out.
But by the way, Penix had a decent day today. He didn't have to do too much.
Got it.
Right, he didn't have a touchdown, but he took care of the ball. His passes were a lot crisper. He was able to roll out, which Kirk has not been able to do. Give us a little versatility.
Yeah.
He's not really a running quarterback though. So he's still, even though he's young,
but he's young.
The pocket guy. Yeah. He's not a Lamar.
Got it.
Right? People associate because of his pigmentation that he's a running quarterback. He's not. He's a pocket passer, but he has a lot more mobility in the pocket than Kirk does at his age.
Well, Kirk's also right.
So he did well today. He did have one pick, but I don't think that really was on him. It was off of freaking Pitts, who's another guy who's got to go.
Wow.
I mean, he got to go. But it was off Pitt's hands and picked off.
Okay. Well,
he had a decent debut.
He had a good intro to play a scrimmage. He had a scrimmage this Sunday.
When your defense gets 2 6 touchdowns, you don't really have to do a lot but hand the ball to Bijan Robinson.
Correct. Well, speaking of, I guess video game like numbers and performances, let's move on to a blend of fake and real.
Okay.
Where the fake impacts the real. Madden ratings apparently are dictating real life trades.
Crazy.
And not surprised, the Jets.
Jets. Jets.
Just end the season, as your son would say. They're doing Jets-like things. Yeah. And their owner, Woody Johnson, vetoed a trade for Jerry Jeudy, if I'm not mistaken. Would that be correct?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if it was vetoed or he just was against it. So, he did fire the GM, right?
Yeah.
The GM's talking about this, fired GM's talking about this in an interview that they wanted to trade for Jerry Jeudy. And when they ran it past the owner said, nah, his Madden rating's not good enough. Now, mind you, up until this week, because today was a rough day for the Browns. They may have taken a step back, but he was the top 5 wide receiver in the NFL as of this week.
That's asinine, man. That is.
But his Madden rating wasn't good enough.
Because that's what matters.
Because that's what matters. Yeah. So, of course, the internet is crazy. Like, oh, we shouldn't sign this guy because, his agility rating on Madden.
I mean, for real, like
his kick power is not good enough.
It's unreal. Like, those are the decisions you're making based on that kind of data. Forget the statisticians. That's your data right there. Madden is my data analyst and everything.
That's not a valid source of data. So this to me brings up the question. I know how you're going to answer it, but I'm still going to ask is, if you're like the owner, obviously it's your team. You can do whatever you want. But why would you meddle with people that actually know football? This is why I think it's a lot of teams in trouble, right? Because the owners overstep.
Yeah, of course.
Is that an action? But can an owner overstep if they actually own the team?
Yes.
And literally can make any decision that they want at any time?
Yes.
Because they're the billionaire?
Yes. Because they don't live in the real world.
They don't.
They live in their own world. And in their world,
Madden rankings.
That's a valid point. They live in so much in their own world that they can literally make any decision at any time for any reason.
Yeah.
Based on whatever they're feeling in the moment. Or maybe their son plays Madden and said something terrible about this guy's rating, and now you just run with it. Versus the professionals that you hired and pay buku money to.
Oh, and then fire them.
Because you can.
And you're the Jets.
So I guess it's like, I'm going to quote somebody who's probably not the best person to quote.
Jeezy?
No, this person's been in a lot of trouble lately.
Uh-oh.
But it's a line from when he was in one of his raps. Maybe somebody wrote it for him because he had ghostwriters.
Okay.
And he says, don't worry if I write rhymes, I write checks.
Yeah. I mean, that's an owner's stance.
That is the way an owner.
So I guess if you were an owner though, right, you would be out of your own ego.
So if me as an owner, again, I don't know what it feels like to be a billionaire, right?
Yeah, you might just be like, you might go power hungry.
I don't know what my ego will be like when nobody can say no to me. Think about that, right?
Right.
You can't be said no to.
Right.
So, and money is no object. Nothing isn't. Whatever.
So if you were running an NBA team, right, and your basketball people were saying no to, you want to do this, but you liked this, would you go that way because you can, or would you listen to your basketball people?
So what I would do is listen to them. I would take information from all sides, right? Like, all right, here's what you're saying. Here's what this is saying. And then you would do an evaluation.
I know,
right?
But I'm saying, well, like, okay, so you did all of that. All your basketball people are saying this, but you like this player. What are you doing?
Then there comes this thing called a hunch, right? Your gut instinct. And you have to go with that. I've always been a big believer. Like my gut instinct, I've never gone against it. Whether it's against the grain or with whatever the trend is, right? I have no comfortable going against the trend. You already know me. Like,
but this guy's 2K ratings are really, really good. And this guy's are not.
I don't even care about that. So for me, it's a situational thing. Me personally, at the end of the day, for me, it's about instinct, right? My gut instinct. I have to know about this guy. It's not just the way he performs and like the numbers. I'm not a big numbers guy. I want to meet this guy. I want to know about him, his personal life. Like, what is he like as a teammate? But you don't think that's too much for an owner? No.
Shouldn't the owner just,
if I'm being asked to, but like the decision-making process. But
you've hired people that know the game, that do the evaluation. Like, shouldn't you let them be the decision makers?
So at that point, it's my job to empower those folks, right, with the right resources so they can make the best decision for the organization.
Right. But what's happening in a lot of these franchises is they hire the GM or the president.
Correct. They
empower them until they want to just jump in and make the decision.
Then you want a yes man, right? And then that's where that ego side of that comes into that.
So that's what I'm asking. Would you?
I don't know because I've never been a billionaire, bro.
All right, fine. All right, no more hypothetical. I can't get what I'm. I can't get what I'm. No, I mean, I think that I would be secure enough to try to hire the best minds and not meddle.
Until your best friend says something, and then she's like, you have a golf tournament and somebody bets you something. My God. It happens, bro.
I don't know.
It happens.
I don't know. Like, it's a hypothetical, but I would like to think that I would do it the right way.
Okay, well, here we are.
Here we are
with the Jets.
All right. So switching gears. So we got a little sprinkle of basketball in there.
Okay.
I don't know where you've been or if you've heard of this. I must have been like living under a rock for a while, but Amazon has a new deal that's going to be starting in late 2025 to broadcast NBA games.
I've heard about that.
And I really did not hear about it. I don't know why. So like streaming wise, I think we're going to be in a couple of years down to just Amazon and Netflix. They're just going to be doing all the live streaming.
And Hulu maybe? Maybe? No?
No.
Okay.
When was the last time you watched a game on Hulu?
No, I'm saying eventually. No? Okay.
No, I think it's going to come down to the two big boys.
The two bigs? Okay.
Yeah. Because Netflix Netflix has jumped in. Amazon has the head start.
Yeah.
Because they've already been doing football. Now they're jumping in basketball. Netflix is just jumping in with WWE starting in January of this year.
Did the boxing?
Yeah, but like starting with WWE, they're going to be doing it weekly, like every week. Right. Okay. So, but anyway, saying all that to say, Amazon has a new deal. And then they announced this week that their primary NBA host can be none other than one of our longtime faves, Taylor Rooks.
Taylor Rooks, man.
Taylor Rooks.
The ascension of
the ascension, Rooks, right?
She's definitely climbed the ranks quickly.
And as the primary host.
Yeah. Good for her. Congratulations.
And then she's going to be joined by Ian Eagle, respected journalist.
Yeah.
And the one that threw me off is the in-studio analyst, Dirk Nowitzki.
As in like the Dirk?
As in the Dirk.
Like the Dirk shot?
The
like
Dirk.
Wow.
Dirk.
That's different.
Very different.
I've never... Usually you show your face in a variety of places.
Yeah.
Throughout this journey of broadcasting.
Yep.
But he's been a guest more than a regular.
Where's he been a guest at?
He's sprinkled as a guest on NBA TV and things like that. But even as a very short guest. Like here's a guest.
I thought that he moved back to Germany and was like
no
living his best life.
No, I think he's back and forth because him and Luka and the whole Dallas thing. But that's different. I'm curious. How that's going to, what his role will be, I guess.
But he's like the analyst. So she's the host. He's taking
I get it, but like I'm trying to see like, is he going to have a segment? Is he going to be what is?
I kind of figured they're like a 3-man team or 3-person. I'm sorry, 3-person team. I got to be,
bro.
I know it's 2020, almost 2025.
Almost,
I'm going to get us canceled. It's a 3-person team, right? But
I'm going to give it a chance, I guess.
But I think Taylor Rook's going to be real good. I mean, she's already been good, but like getting to like be there to do your own thing.
Yeah, now she has more pride control.
And like, oh my God, I can only imagine the type of creative control and liberty that she has as like the primary, like she could be like the next
Ernie.
Female Stephen A.
Boom. Hey.
It's gonna be crazy. But
good for her. Congratulations.
I'm so happy for her.
I'm more curious to see how the team fits in together.
I think the team's going to be good. I mean, she's already had such a deep experience of working with different personalities in that space.
Absolutely.
And so I think that she's gained enough knowledge and she's reformed her skills so much that like, I think it'll be second nature for her to be like riding a bike, right?
Well,
just a different cast around her.
Yep.
And like by all accounts, from everything we've ever heard, like Dirk is a great guy, right? So it's not like he's gonna make life difficult for her. So I mean,
you know what?
I think it's gonna work well.
You know how I would have loved for them to bring on?
What?
Tim Duncan. Get some personality.
Timmy's still just like another one, like living his hippie life out there.
You can get the big centers to be your Dirk and Timmy.
Are they like a rival for like Shaq and Chuck?
Oh, there you go. The stories.
Amazon versus
imagine the stories.
Amazon versus ESPN.
Yes. You got the Dirk shot, then you got the bank shot. It'd be awesome.
The Dirk fadeaway.
Yeah. So
but shout out to them.
I'm looking forward to it.
But Amazon, like 11-year deal too.
Yeah, man, that's Amazon got money to throw at them.
Must be good to be Bezos.
Must be good to be another billionaire.
Yeah, I mean, I think we're not that far off from just 2 major streamers.
I don't even doubt you, bro.
2 major streamers.
Yeah.
But I was like, I don't know where I was when this was announced, but I do not remember.
I heard about the Amazon thing, just not this whole second part of it.
No, this part is definitely new. So,
okay.
Well, while we're on the topic of NBA, we talked about it, kind of a preview last week.
Yes.
The NBA Cup.
Yes, sir.
Has cometh to a conclusion.
Yes.
And just as I predicted, the Milwaukee Bucks were victorious.
They were victorious.
In the NBA Cup of the 20th for, I don't know.
Trying to see if you have a cup over there. You're drinking something.
No, my cuppeth runneth over earlier.
Got it. I was gonna say,
but so here we are, back-to-back years, right? We talked about it last time. You got a young up-and-coming team. You got a veteran team.
Yeah,
veteran team takes it.
Experience.
Shout out Darvin Ham. Yeah, 14-0 in NBA Cup games between the Lakers and now he's with the Bucks.
Wow.
Undefeated.
So he's the only back-to-back winner.
Him and Torian Prince. Torian Prince
that's right.
Was with the Lakers and then went. That's it.
If you want to win the next cup, you better get both of those guys. You got to
pick them guys up. You know? Giannis wanted it. Dame wanted it.
Giannis, he played like he played his heart out. You don't see that. So sometimes Giannis, NBA players take a break some game.
Giannis,
though, this game he was a bit extra. You could see that he's really wanting this.
But that's how the cup games have been. I mean, that's the shout out to you said that was one of the most innovative things. Like both all the cup. Like once you get to that Vegas, the last four, they were all super competitive.
Yes.
Every single one of them super competitive, and nobody was dogging it.
Right.
Nobody was like, I don't care about this. It's just a cup game. Like, no, they won it.
Oh, they wanted it.
And I mean, shout out to Silver for, and shout out to the players for making it something like now that we can look forward to every year.
No, the NBA for sure. That product that they created is beautiful. And you're only going to see it grow, and the money's going to get bigger.
Oh, yeah.
More sponsors, more publicity. Although the ratings have gone down significantly.
Well, the ratings for NBA have just been plummeting.
Correct. Correct. So
I think it's just like there's too many games. Like football, right?
You want to turn it down?
So football has a lot of games, but like if you just want to follow your team, you've got 17 games.
Right.
And they're spread out one a week.
Right.
I can handle one a week. But when my team is playing potentially 3 times a week,
right,
4 times a week, sometimes if you got a back-to-back, and with all the other things that are going on in the world and life and other things you might be following, it's a lot of games.
It is.
It's a lot of games.
And also because of the whole epidemic of players not defense, these high-scoring games. What does a lot of
3-pointers?
Right. It's become 3 or layups, right?
Right. Who wants to sit and watch a lot of 3-pointers? Like Brown was just talking about this. For me, I don't even mind that part, right? Because I don't actually enjoy precision shooting, right? Okay, this is it's kind of crazy to see somebody hit 8, 9 threes. That's hard to do. For me, it's just the constant turnaround of games. I already watch football. Football's my dedicated time. I don't have another 3 days, 4 days a week.
Oh, that's
to put in 3 hours to watch a game.
Too much at that point.
Right. Each game is what, roughly 2.5 to 3 hours. So times 3 to about 9 hours a week.
Yeah. No.
So I don't got time for that. So do I care about Hawks Pistons in the middle of December? I don't. But when it starts to ramp up and get the playoff, okay, yeah, I want to watch. I watch 3 times a week in the playoffs because they're in a series and they're playing for something. Different. But I'm not even March. Am I going to care about a Hawks Hornets game in March?
Wow.
I mean,
I thought you were an avid fan.
It's just I am, but there's just certain games that I'd rather I tune into.
Understood, right?
Versus other games.
Right. Would you watch a Hawks Nets game?
Right.
Would I ever watch the Hawks? Sorry, I had to throw that in there.
I knew that was coming. I just knew. I knew that was
coming. But for real though, you're right. In that sense that yes, and this is maybe where the NBA is trying to get. They need to get more creative, right? Maybe this is why the whole All-Star thing became that whole new format. For that reason, they're trying to make it more exciting, more enticing.
I think they just need to decrease the number of games. That way
the players would love it.
We can get rid of this load management. But the problem is the owners wouldn't love it. The league wouldn't love it.
Correct.
The networks wouldn't love it.
Correct.
But again, if the ratings aren't there, then what?
Well, then at that point do the players accept less money?
I mean, it's all tied together.
Right. It's all.
I just know that as a fan, I am not going to watch 42 games.
Likewise.
I mean, I'm sorry, 82 games.
I'm just not.
I mean, thinking half of the season.
You're talking about home games only?
Yeah, right. Even if I just watched all the home games, there's no way.
Yeah.
Even if I was able to live in that area, I couldn't even foresee going to 40.
I thought you were the Nav Bhatia, right? The Toronto super fan. You're the.
If I didn't have a job, and I had unlimited time on my hands.
You were a billionaire.
No, of course. That's a game changer. I'd go to the away games too.
Got it.
But no, I mean, it's just, I think it's a little too much, but that's just me.
Well, they have something to figure out.
They do.
Right? They have something to figure out. So, but congratulations to the Bucks.
Yep.
And Dame got a chip.
As I correctly,
You just went against what I said. That's all you. We can go back and get the tape.
No, we don't need to rewind the tape.
No, I'm just gonna go against you.
I mean, I picked correctly. That's all I know.
But you're welcome.
But as we're talking about, the NBA and crazy things going on, there's been a lot of whispers and rumor mill has been churning about one Jimmy Butler, Jimmy Buckets, Emmy Buckets, getting traded from the Heat. And from what I've seen, and there might be a few other teams, but two teams that are definitely very interested in it are the Phoenix Suns and the Golden State Warriors.
Oh boy. So another top tier talent goes west. Basically vacating the East.
Yes.
And wow.
Yes.
But man, that's enticing.
So where do you think?
I always thought Jimmy would just never leave Miami because of the way like Miami culture, Heat culture, like he's that. He's so fit with that. But this is news, man. And maybe it is time to move.
So where do you think he would go?
I don't know where he will go.
Or where would you want him to go?
But where I think he would be a great piece to add on to would be Golden State. He can go bring that because he's another guy I could see him and Draymond like either really loving each other or really hating each other. Oh, God. It'd be one or the other.
Oh my goodness.
Can you imagine those practices?
Do we even have another Jordan Poole situation?
And that's what I was thinking. Like, but unlike Jordan Poole, he's not backing.
No, I mean he's gonna come out swinging. This man's
not backing down, and he will come back swinging hard. You got two alpha dogs. Mm-hmm. Can you imagine how ramped up those practices are going to be? The trash talk. I'd rather watch Golden State practices than their games at that point. I want them to start airing their practices. That's what I would like to see him go because he can really take that team up. Like that. You got Dre and Jimmy on the floor, bro.
So you put Schroeder on the bench, right? 6 man. It would be Steph, Clay, Wiggs. I'm like Clay.
Bro, where you living? You definitely living under the rock.
Wow. No, I know Clay. Stop it. I know Clay is in Dallas. Steph, Jimmy, Wiggs, Dre. I forget who's playing their 5.
They have man. I don't know.
But anyway, that's what you would run with?
Oh yeah.
I think that if there's one team that has a culture built up enough for him, it would be Golden State.
Oh yeah, for sure.
But I think Phoenix would be the more intriguing team for me. You put him with KD, you probably are sending Beal in that package.
Yeah, exactly.
Which, I mean, where has Beal been?
That's a great question.
WBB. Where has Beal been? WHBB. Ever since that trade, it's like
it's a great question.
We never heard from him again. They got a little squad.
They could use him to help really amp that culture back, like or just up,
or to even just like compete for.
Correct, and he brings that. He absolutely brings that.
But do you think that his teammates would have that same dog that he has?
And that's exactly why he's a better fit for Golden State because they already have that culture. He seamlessly fits in. Whereas here he'll have to help develop that culture a little bit. So it just depends what they're willing to offer him.
What about Milwaukee?
That's the first team I thought of before I heard about these two. He'd be great for them.
I don't think that they're in the runnings.
They're not, but I would love for him to be part of that.
Middleton's kind of fading out now.
Him and Giannis had that same mentality, right? Again, I want to watch their practices.
Bobby Portis.
And Dame too. Dame's not bad. Right? Those practices would be amazing to watch. I want them to air practices if he goes to
want to see Jimmy versus Thanasis.
Stop it.
Stop cooking my little brother.
You this guy just trolling guys. Stop.
All right. So, but I think Milwaukee would be a tough one too. So,
yeah.
But we'll see. We got still got a couple more months before the trade deadline. So we'll see if he ends up somewhere. We'll revisit this one. But now the rumors are starting to get heavy.
Yeah.
Do you think it happens or do you think he stays with Miami? What's the percentage?
I don't know. I think it depends on...
Give me a percent.
The offer. It's the offer. It's the heart.
50-50.
What I'll say is make me an offer I can't refuse, is what I would say.
Give me a number.
Make me an offer.
Give me a number. He stays, he goes.
Cha-ching! is the offer.
All right. Fine. All right. And so last but not least, we're going to end it on a little bit of a somber note that we have Man of Steel.
Yeah.
And this is not,
Superman.
Steel, but steal as in stealing bases. Rickey Henderson.
Yes, sir.
Passing away at age of 65. And so now for me, you got a few more years on me. I was still a very little lad. I was a little lad when he was in his heyday. What I remember from him is from my Sega Genesis baseball game.
Got it.
Where I'd always have him and I'd be hitting home runs. But that's just because I played on easy.
Got it.
So I don't remember him stealing a lot of bases in that game particularly. But I don't, I was young then.
Got it.
It's a long time ago. But for you,
I mean, about that.
It was kind of in your heyday. You were a little older.
I was out of diapers at that point.
I was not in diapers, sir. All right, so your memories,
bro. So again, our condolences to the Henderson family. Rickey, man, he passed away young, right, 65.
Yeah,
but this guy, Man of Steel, for our folks who don't know much about him, he was the best at stealing bases. And I'm going to read just a following line from ESPN. He had a 25-year career. Right then, they play a lot more games than
181. Yeah,
that's itself incredible.
Mm-hmm.
The 25 years, 181 games. You do the math on. The following his final season in 2003, Henderson finished with 3,055 hits and left the game holding the all-time marks in steals, runs scored 2,295, and walks 2,190. A record that's now held by Barry Bonds. Henderson was named to 10 All-Star games, finished his career with 111.1 wins above replacement. Pardon me, I'm not very familiar with that means. Third most of anyone in the past half century, behind Barry Bonds and A-Rod, and both of them who had other issues, performance-based. So Henderson didn't have those issues. Remarkable athlete, goes in his own right. First ballot inductee to the Hall of Fame, 9, and that was incredible. And my personal story with him when I was out of diapers was that we had just moved to the US, right? And I was trying to figure out what my sport, because I was just I love sports. I was trying to figure out what the sports are of. What are US sports? And back then, like, baseball was a much bigger sport than basketball or football is now. Bigger. Baseball was the sport.
America's sport.
Right. It was America's sport. And I got introduced to baseball, and it was closer to like cricket, right? Cricket's the number 2 sport in the world. I'm like, all right, let me look into this. And then I saw this guy who was super fat. He was stealing bases like he was no problem. And I also had Sega Genesis, and I played the same game, and I always selected him, and I always got my base stealing from first to second, easy. That's an automatic base, right? It's an extra base for no matter. Just got to get him on first, and you got second base covered. It was like that, and I was so like taken back by the level of performance that he was just stealing bases like it was nothing against professional athletes. And then they had a power team at that point. They had him, they had Jose Canseco, I think they had Mark McGuire, they had this guy, Dennis Eckersley, if I'm not mistaken, a sidearm pitcher. Never seen stuff like that. So I became like an Oakland A's fan for a little bit. Like, oh, this team is baller. And Rickey was like that guy who he could do everything. Whatever you needed him to do, he could do. Plus the speed really like got me. Like, how's this guy so fast? So that's kind of like, he helped me become a baseball fan. And then I learned about the Yankees. They're a local team. Never a Mets fan. Always Yankees. Right? The Mets and the Jets go together. Yeah. But he was like, when I heard about like what he's able to do from a physical standpoint, he wasn't really tall either. I was like, oh man, this guy is like, he's him. He's truly him.
We just didn't use that. We
didn't use that, exactly.
But
he was him before him became a thing. Right?
He was one of the original hymns.
Correct.
One of many original.
Absolutely. So much respect to Rickey Henderson, and from what I hear, like, he was an amazing person as a human.
Yep.
Played the game with equity.
Played it the right way.
Yeah. Much respect to him.
Absolutely. Well, that's the perfect way to put a bow on it and wrap it up. So rest in peace, Rickey. And we appreciate y'all for tuning in, hanging with us. Until next week, we'll be back. Think RBA.
Peace.